How do I become more productive is the subject of today's eCentral Business Show. I'm John Naylor, joined again by Steuart Snooks. Thank you very much for talking. Continue to talk to me this morning.
Pleasure, John.
Okay, great. Now, productivity, another major thing that you're into and working with organisations and individuals around. What do you got? Like a 6-step process for us, I guess?
It's only 5 steps.
Oh, it's only 5.
We remember odd numbers more readily than even, so I keep it down to 5.
Now, where do you get that from?
Oh, books I've read.
Okay. No, it's actually something odd about odd numbers, isn't there? Anyway, on with the show. Now, so you got a 5-step process around productivity. Now, is it really just as simple as a 4-hour work week? Is this where we're headed?
Oh, there are elements of the 5 steps in the 4-hour work week for sure. I mean, I started in productivity 20 years ago and specialised in email because more and more people were saying to me, hey, Steuart, our biggest time management problem is email. So I specialised in that. But email just needs to sit in the context of broader workplace productivity. And so I find the 5 steps are quite counterintuitive. Whenever you go to a productivity or a time management program, you start talking bigger picture. You need to have your mission and your vision and your goals, and you drill down to then the day-by-day outcomes. But that's not where people are at. People are overloaded. Our technology, particularly via email, makes so much coming at us. The first thing that I try and help people to do is manage that overload, which is where the email-specific work that I do comes in. Because a lot of the principles that apply to managing email also apply to social media or voicemail or all sorts of incoming data. The ability to, well, the 3 steps just quickly are decrease frequency with which we are checking all these sources, reduce the volume that we're trying to be across, and then increase the speed of processing, reading speed, processing speed, filing speed.
So what are you saying, so dumbing that down, so at the outset you're saying for a start, only check your email periodically, as opposed to having a tab open or having Outlook there, so things...
Don't allow it as a constant stream, that's right. Have it at specific times of the day, as often as you need in your role. And it's different for different roles. And it's even different for the same person on different days of the week or different times of the month. But be in control, mostly around attention span. It really is a mental thing. It's where does our attention go? Where does our eyeballs go? Instead of not being able to focus on anything, focus on email and then move on to other things. Okay,
tremendous. And then you also touched on, and I'm trying to remember just quickly, around that, there's also that thing of like the channels as well. So if you've got too many channels, like, you know, say for instance, I had an organisation I'm involved with where they're saying, oh, we really want you to use Slack, you know, as another channel for, and I'm going, no, I'm in channel overload. I've got like messages on LinkedIn and email, text messages. That's enough. I draw the line at that, Steuart. Is that a smart thing to do?
Yes. Depending on your personality or on your organisation, you'll choose the channels that are most appropriate. Trying to be across everything means we just get spread too thin. So choose the channels that are most appropriate. And change channel to suit the message or the input that we're trying to get. I mean, how many different sources of news do we need to have, really? I mean, you could get news from so many different sources, but you probably have a preference. And there's probably a time of the day that you prefer to hear the news. So work that out and reduce the frequency, or decrease the frequency and reduce the volume.
Okay. So what else have we got in this 5-step process?
Well, that's the first thing, is to stop some of the time at the hemorrhaging to this overload and the distraction. And a lot of time is also lost to interruptions and distractions. So interruptions are what I call from outside sources, a lot of information, a lot of email, a lot of phone calls, a lot of visitors. Distractions are mental distractions. Now, so much is going on in our world, we've absorbed so much and it pops back up and distracts us. So the ability to control those sorts of things and give attention to them, full attention to them when it's appropriate, and be able to switch off and give full attention to something else that's more worthy at the time. So that would be the second step. The third one is to manage commitments. Because so much is now possible, we take on too much. David Allen, in his book Getting Things Done, talks about most people's time management problems are inappropriately managed commitments that we make to others and also to ourselves. We think we can do more than we can. You know, we overestimate how much we can do in a day and underestimate how much we can do in a year. So in the workshops and coaching, talk to them about how to make decisions around managing commitments, do some of the thinking, and it's only a little bit of thinking up front, before you jump in and get fully committed. Because of FOMO, which we talked about earlier, fear of missing out, because of the fact that we like to be available to help, to know what's going on, we sort of say yes first and then work out how we're going to deliver later.
Oh, okay, so just like, so pull back, just like, oh, that's great, can I? Actually, I've got a friend that does that to me. He says, what are you doing, John? They don't need your help.
Think it through.
But I want to. No, stop it.
And there's so many good things to choose from. In many days gone by, maybe it was a good thing versus a bad thing, but now it's a choice of goods. And we have limited time, resource, energy. We can't give it to everything. We need to have a decision-making criteria about what we say yes to, because everything we're saying yes to is also something we're saying no to. What we're often unaware of is by saying yes, I've actually said no to that without realising it. It's thinking that through.
Yeah, right, okay. So what else is there on this list of the 5 steps towards
So now that we're managing commitments appropriately, we've got a plate full of priorities. How do I choose what the priorities are? How do I make decisions about the order or the sequence, the urgency, the importance of the priorities that I've got? What's the decision-making criteria that we use? For most of us, I'll do whatever's quick, easy, cheap, convenient. I like that. And that's not necessarily the best way to prioritise. In particular, I'll talk about triage, which is a really robust system because it takes the task tagging or the emotional tagging out of that decision making. You think about when you go to a casualty or emergency at hospital, what's the first thing that happens? You go and see the
triage
nurse.
Yeah, triage.
Stony faced, cold-hearted, impersonal, impassive. But they have to make an unemotional judgment of where your issue comes up in the bigger scheme of things. With triage, A, B, C. And that's a very good model to use for making those sorts of decisions. And then I get, in the workshops, get everyone to put A, B, C into Covey's. In fact, you've got the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People there. His importance urgency matrix, and get people to put A, B, C and D, 1 letter per box, high urgency, high importance versus, and so people get the A and the D correct every time, but there's always a disagreement about where B and C.
A bit argy-bargy, yeah, okay. All right, what else have we got there?
And so then the last thing is how do I now manage my time, energy and focus? Now that I've been able to claw back some time, I'm giving it to the things that are appropriate for the commitments that I've got. I'm making good decisions about the priorities. How can I leverage the time? How can I spend 1 hour and get 3 hours worth of value? Because I'm in the zone physically, mentally, and I can get a lot done in a short period of time. And there are different times of the day, what we call peak energy times. There are down times. Calculating what sort of activities are appropriate for each and making sure that I'm only doing peak time activities during my peak times and only doing downtime activities there instead of mixing them up, which is what people often do. We get so busy doing the quick, the cheap, the easy, the convenient, the I like. We run out of time for the stuff that matters until about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon or late in the week when it's really hard work then.
Yeah, that's right. You tend to put off the things that you think, oh, that's going to actually require some brain thought,
I'll just clear the decks here and then I can really focus on this. The problem is by the time you do that, you're out of gas.
Yeah, and there's still more stuff coming. There's new things on the table, No, I get it. So it's interesting, part of my year this year has certainly become more regimented around process and setting aside time and even just using things in a diary and calendaring things. So no, we'll do that tomorrow at that time.
Yes.
It just has become invaluable in terms of productivity. So you're saying that more additional regimentation is going to free up more of your time, yeah?
Yes.
And for what purpose, So you can do what matters, I guess.
Yes. So, really most
more
of
time with the family or
work to have time to do things outside of work. But work's taken over, and as I'm writing an article now, are you working 9 to 5 or 2 lots of 5 to 9 or both? You're doing all your real work at 5 in the morning till 9, then you're in meetings and emails, and then you're doing the stuff that really matters to catch up.
Oh, there's a sort of pressure in corporate world to operate like that, yeah.
Because there's so much to be done, and the key is to get it done more productively during working hours so that after hours are spent for after hours activity.
Yeah, okay, well we've got to wrap up on that.
Great.
And even anecdotally, there was something I saw the other day where the guy got up and did a talk about his productivity model. He said, look, by 7 a.m. in the morning, my day's already done. I've got that thing's out organised. But anyway, we're out of time. Steuart, how do they find you?
Again, SteuartSnooks.com, and they can spell Steuart any which way they like. It'll all points to the same site, SteuartSnooks.com.au.
We looked at as well, Google respelt it correctly when we tried to look for you earlier, didn't it?
Yes, it picked it up.
All right, Steuart, thank you very much for coming on the Central Business Show. That's all for this episode. I'm John Naylor. Thank you very much for watching another episode of the eCentral Business Show. What we're looking to do across the eCentral Business Show is bring to you the very best content from great people with really informative knowledge to share. It's something that you can listen to in the car. Don't watch it obviously when you're doing that, but we're looking to really bring value to you across LinkedIn, YouTube, podcastable content. So it's really great and informative business knowledge. So please tune in as much as you can. Now, the great ways to follow us, you can register on the database, make contact with us, and we'll put your email in. We're going to tell you each month what great videos would come out and just give you a curated version through the eCentral magazine, where we're going to send you the most popular videos for the month. The other thing we can do is obviously invite you to connect with us on LinkedIn, linked up with myself, John Naylor. And the other thing, of course, is look up John Naylor on YouTube and subscribe to our channel there.